hate myself. So I'm really curious what Rev found out about OffKai and what's happening with it. Because, you know, the OffKai, I've been hearing a lot of stuff with what's been happening with them that's not been good. So I'm curious if it's gotten even worse than that. So, I mean, I'm already seeing here, there's like awful lot of neo-Nazis in the VTuber community, whereas never let them guess pop because they have. I'm wondering who this guy is. Maybe we're going to find out. So I think this is about to get interesting. So let's find out what happened to, let's see what's happened at OffKai, especially with Phase Connect. So here we go. And 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here. So today we're going to be talking about the drama surrounding OffKai Expo 2024. So in the weeks that have led up to this event, there was a lot of drama involving blacklisting of VTubers who were scheduled to be guests at this event. And now that the convention has closed as of today, there's another round of controversies involving allegations that some of the VTubers and related events there were sabotaged by some of the volunteers who had a personal disliking of these content creators. Now, before we get into that,
this is going to get interesting, I think, because if it's anything like you saw on the thumbnail, like, I'm really curious if one of these volunteers like hates VTubers. Which, if that's the case, why are you going to volunteer at a VTuber convention? So somebody may have come in specifically to try and sabotage things. Oh, I think this might be good.
Remind ourselves how we got here. So a lot of the initial drama involved the VTuber Kirsha, who originally was set to be a guest at OffKai this year. However, in this stream from about a month ago, she announced that she was blacklisted as a guest, and in conversations with the director of OffKai, it was revealed what all this came from.
Let's see, I think it's fair to say you're a bit controversial with a lot of your takes, especially for staff largely based in California. That in and of itself, and this guy,
basically, she was blacklisted as.
Okay, so this is spoken by Lysander. So Lysander is like the head guy running the convention. He's the one that Kirsche was conversing with. And this was his reasoning for why Kirsche was blacklisted, why she was asked not to attend as a panelist. I think it's fair to say that you are a bit controversial with a lot of your takes, especially for a staff largely based in California. That in and of itself, in my opinion, is pretty damning for people that live in California. Now, I don't believe it's true for all people living in California. I think that saying this is an excuse, because what Lysander is saying here is people in California can't handle someone thinking differently from them, which is a dangerous sentiment. If you're going to say that the people of California cannot handle someone that thinks differently from them, what the hell are they doing? Then that means the people of California can't function in a modern society. And that there are a lot of volunteers involved working either directly or indirectly with every guest at panels isn't fair for us to ask them to do something they're not comfortable with. Bearing in mind, with this statement, it was 1 or 2 people that had a problem with Kirsche. And she was never saying that OffKai had to force these people to work with her. Could have got someone else to work with her. So, yeah, they're soft over literally nothing. And this stems from the helicopter parroting, everyone gets a trophy mentality. These people are not growing up understanding that you don't get everything you want. And it's showing into adulthood with this. Exactly. We did get a list of screenshots of things that made staff uncomfortable if you do wish to see them. They're mostly tweets that you made in the past. Bear in mind, I did see these tweets. It's nothing offensive. She's not tweeting something like, you know, grossly homophobic or transphobic stuff, or that, there's nothing offensive in these tweets. She makes a joke, slightly off-color joke. There was one where she was correcting someone on a statement that they made that may have been about a topic involving LGBT or something, but she was factually correcting someone on it. There was absolutely nothing offensive in anything of her tweets, but their staff, largely based in California, couldn't handle it and said that they were uncomfortable if they would be uncomfortable as Kirsche attended, and that's why they blacklisted her instead of firing the volunteer.
As a guest, and it all boiled down to 7 tweets that the volunteers brought forward that they claim made them uncomfortable and that they would have to walk away from the event if she was not removed. And these 7 tweets were...
Here we go. So here's the tweets. You can't see them all, some are blurred. In the US, we have LGBTQ, blankety blank blanky, but in Canada, they have this acronym, and the plus is people who identify as part of sexual and gender diverse communities, hope this helps. So, nothing offensive in here. She was showcasing the difference in how 2 different countries, present the different communities. Probably pointing out that the U.S. has every alphabet under the sun. Like, this labeling has gotten so incredibly long. Same thing in Canada, honestly, but it's a little bit shortened. They've added 4 letters or characters. Well, let's see. LGBT, that one should be obvious. That's a lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender. That's been around forever. Well, and that's it. You don't. We're talking about people that are perpetually offended by everything. They wake up every morning looking for something to be offended over, because that is their identity. Their identity is one of oppression. They identify as being oppressed, even when they're not. And so they are perpetually looking. That's why I call them the SJA, or social justice activists, instead of warriors, because they're not warriors. They're activists. And they live terminally online. And the only way of life they know is to be perpetually offended. That's the only way they know how to live. And so literally anything will offend them. And they'll never be happy. And that's the problem. Let's see. Gotta notice that YouTube added pronouns to their creator profiles. I'm glad that I'm glad that as part of Italian, my preferred pronoun is A, and I think she does like the Italian hand gesture. I can't show you because my avatar, but it's that Italian hand gesture. You can think when Italian's like, "Hey, what's the matter with you?" And they've, their hands up with the 2 fingers cut touching the thumb. But the traditional one. Welcome back, Kaboom. Is available in the initial drop. There's a notice that says to stay tuned for the addition of new pronouns as well. I hope I pull in SSR and the gotcha. So, and this is a joke. She's making a joke. Hi, music. I started a bit early, so we're already into the React stuff today. Let's see. After its last strange decision to get rid of everyone's discriminator, Discord seems to be rolling out a pronoun feature for your bio. So, all of this, none of this is offensive. She does get into DEI here. We're talking about how DEI isn't dying. She's been talking about that, but none of it's offensive. It's only offensive to these volunteers who are perpetually offended by everything and can never be pleased. So that's the backstory of why Kirsche was blacklisted, is these tweets. One or two or few of the volunteers at OffKai were offended by these tweets. and could not handle the fact that Kirsche was going to be a panelist. And so instead of OffKai saying, okay, you are volunteers that we are not paying. Yes, you're setting things up, but you're not actually making us any money. Kirsche is a panelist that's going to bring customers through the door and make us money. Okay, let's kick Kirsche off and we'll keep you, who caused this problem, and not make us money so we can make even less money. It's completely ass backwards thinking from a business perspective.
Were openly shared by Kirsche because while they're Weenie Hut Jr. levels of offensive, okay, they are really not bad at all. And here's an example of one of those tweets. It is a joke she made a year ago where she changed her pronouns on Discord to Burger Queen. Yes, this warranted her removal as a guest. And as you can see, the level of really effort they put into this is ridiculous. So here's the screenshot from the volunteers, and as you can see, the word pronoun is highlighted, which means that these volunteers were keyword searching on her account to find tweets that they could label offensive. Now,
that's what Rib was talking about when he covered this earlier, is these volunteers actually went, probably when they found out Kirsche was going to be a panelist, went onto Kirsche's Twitter feed and searched for the keyword pronoun for specifically for tweets that they could collect and say, we're offended by this. We can't, Kirsche should not be allowed, we're offended by this. It was a deliberate hit.
Now, seeing this all happen, seeing her get blacklisted, me and my wife, Darling Straub, who were slated as guests for OffKai through a third party, we said this is ridiculous. We're going to walk unless she is reinstated as a guest. And of course, that didn't happen. But eventually, I would cover all this stuff in a video from a few weeks ago if you want the full background leading up until this.
Definitely. This person here, this is Rev. He's a VTuber, Rev says Desu. And yeah, it is absolutely as embarrassing for them, Kaboom. Rev's music, he's a VTuber. He does a lot of, he's kind of like a VTuber journalist almost. He does a lot of coverage regarding pop culture stuff. He does a lot of focus on gaming news. A lot lately he's been covering stuff that like the DEI inclusionary stuff, like Sweet Baby Inc. Influencing Suicide Squad, and we've seen the effects of that. He was covering the big thing with Stellar Blade, how people were so up in arms about the look of the character of Eve in Stellar Blade, and how they say it's unrealistic when actually that was the body scan of an actual model, like her proportions and everything. So he covers a lot of gaming news, and he also covers a lot of VTuber news. He's gone into the problems that Niji Sanji has been having and other VTuber news. That's kind of primarily been, in my experience, been his wheelhouse. So it's a lot of gaming and VTuber news. But he's basically kind of a VTuber journalist, effectively speaking. Oh yeah, like Twitter is a bane. Like I have a Twitter, I do. The only reason I have a Twitter is I created it for this channel. So, you know, if I get a significant amount of followers, both in the channel and Twitter, I can use Twitter as sort of an information source to let people that watch and follow my channel know if there's going to be some dramatic change, like if I have to cancel or if I have to do a shift in when I'm going to be going live. That's how I'm going to be using my Twitter. Am I going to use it for content on the stream, like doom scrolling through Twitter? I doubt it. But that's basically how I'll be using Twitter, and that is the only reason why I will have ever used Twitter. I have not used Twitter up to this point. I had a Twitter account before, under a different name, under a different username, but I never really used it. The only reason why I kind of had it is with the fuel rats. Once upon a time, before Elon took over Twitter and closed off the API, with the fuel rats, if a case came up and there were no rats available to perform the rescue, a tweet would get sent out for any available rats to please log on because there's a rescue. So I had Twitter available for that. That's it. I've never used Twitter for anything else. because Twitter and Facebook, and they're cesspools at this point, and I avoid it.
This video, you can check out this one right here. I'll put it in the description. But here we are on June 3rd, which marks the end of this year's OffKai Expo. And over the weekend, a lot of people shared their experience at this VTuber convention. And of course, a lot of people had a very good time, but there was also some controversy that we need to talk about now. And this controversy primarily involves the VTuber agency FaZe Connect, which, by the way, a lot of people have a great deal of respect for this VTuber agency, not just their talents, but their management as well. And a lot of people consider them.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with FaZe Connect. I don't know what VTubers are affiliated with FaZe Connect myself. So, from my context, I have no idea who these people represent.
A great example of what a VTuber agency should be all about. Now, what's going on with FaZe Connect? Well, they were a feature of this OffKai Expo 2024, and obviously because of the support they have, they drew in a lot of attendees and a lot of people who wanted to see them at this convention. On top of that, they financially supported a lot of people at this.
FaZe Connect is a VTuber agency. So they cultivate and, I guess, sponsor might be the correct word. I'm not 100% sure. But they're a company that cultivates VTubers. And they give, to basically elevate their visibility on Twitch. Think of it like a talent agency. They're basically kind of like a talent agency. So Kapun, I'm sure you've watched, Cinder and Numi and Yuzu and Bao and Cillian. I'm sure you've probably watched all of them in the past on Twitch. They are all part of the VTuber agency Mythic, I believe. I believe they're part of all part of the Mythic agency, if I'm not mistaken. And it's basically a talent agency that, helps them, elevate the channel, promote them. They probably offer them some resources to improve upon their streams. And they'll tell the agencies will probably maybe take a cut of the money that these VTubers get from things like bits and donations and stuff like that. So it's a talent agency to elevate and promote VTubers. The most infamous one at this point being Niji Sanji over in Japan. They've got a Japanese and they have an English division. They were known to royally screw over their VTubers. Like they treated their VTubers like indentured servants. So they are a bad example. But some of them, like FaZe Connect, apparently, I guess, according to Rev, FaZe Connect does a really good job working with their VTubers to make everything mutually beneficial and a positive experience.
This convention, because in April, FaZe Connect decided to cover the costs of the booth and tables for all vendors in the hall of this convention, which is a very generous thing to do, by the way. A lot of artists at conventions like this struggle to break even because of these booth and table costs. So this was a very generous thing for FaZe Connect to do. Now, at the convention itself, a lot of FaZe Connect fans had a great time. That's to be expected. They have some very funny fans, like they enjoyed themselves at this convention, and also the in-person.
Okay, so Pippa. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the VTuber Pippa. She's pretty popular, so I guess Pippa is part of FaZe Connect. That's
funny fans, like they enjoyed themselves at this convention, and also the in-person concerts and events seemingly went very well, and a lot of people enjoy the in-person events. However, there were some issues with the broadcast of these events. This was something that OffKai had to directly address on Twitter on the 1st, saying this. We had some internal miscommunications regarding the streaming of FaZe Connect's panel, resulting in an unintended broadcast and poor stream experience. As always, we appreciate our friends at FaZe. Now, you can see the top replies to this tweet. A lot of people...
All right, let's see. So I think that's Kirsche, is it?
Some...
No, Smugglana. No, Smugglana I've mentioned it before. So Smuggle, she's a great VTuber. She is actually, I would say, she probably is the person that inspired me to try to do VTubing. When I first moved to where I am now, I was stuck in a hotel for 3 months because I simply could not land an apartment. It's the housing situation is crazy right now, so I could not get an apartment for 3 months. So I was stuck in a hotel, and I hadn't really watched a whole lot of Twitch, but I watched YouTube, and I had seen a couple of her videos of her reacts showed up in my YouTube feed, so I took a look at them, and I thought they were fun. They were funny, and so I figured I'd check her out on Twitch. And after that, I was watching every stream of hers, and I think I can point to her as being my inspiration to try and get into streaming. She was really into she is a big part of why I wanted to get into streaming. Not that I want to like emulate her or like copy her style or anything like that, but it's just I'd seen Cinder, I'd seen Numi, and I didn't really want to do like the lewd tubing like what they do. Not that I could in the first place. I don't have that personality. But Alana was different. She didn't do LuTubing. She talked with people and then she reacted, do like exactly what we're doing, which we'll watch a video and then react to it. And so she is like the word is like she's like my Oshi, which is someone that inspired me and I hope that she does really well. So that's really cool that she was that she's in there. Uh and Brantley's saying, this is interesting. I agree. See, weirdly, the stream was officially announced in the FaZe Discord. They deleted it when it got awful. And then your Twitch mobs put all the blame on FaZe in chat. Also, didn't most of your volunteers from California threaten to walk if Pippa was there some time ago? So that's new. I didn't know that they were threatening to walk if Pippa showed up. Apparently I've heard that more than a few people are not happy with Pippa for some reason. They literally sponsored half your show and you're still gonna blame them. Wow. What a sad way to treat a company who sponsored the vendor hall. Maybe you should fire this guy. Imagine throwing random fuel to a fire by lying just because you can. I have a feeling we're gonna be hearing more from this Gustavo person as Reb goes on. Because I think he has a hate on for VTubers for some reason. And I'm wondering if he was a volunteer.
Issue with this. At the very minimum, they were raising their eyebrows at this situation, but they were also trying to say, like, how do you treat FaZe Connect like this? How'd you let this go so poorly after how much support they have provided for this convention? And also people were pointing out some potential bad actors among the staff, which we'll get into in just a second. Now, here is basically a two.
Let's see, anyone got the TLDR on this? There was supposed to be a stream, where Pippa and Tema stuff. Okay, we have maybe 15 minutes of the stream, the rest is ads, chat's riot. Okay, so OffKai says it was FaZe's decision. Agoshina, Lita, and Urka's got shafted for technical delayed reasons. Then why did we get a single Tema performance wait like 10 minutes? Okay. Interesting. So, when they streamed it on Twitch, they got a crap ton of ads. Interesting. And okay.
Long didn't read version of events here where the stream goes off and there was a lot of issues. It was very janky. There was technical issues, but there was also random spamming of ads interrupting various events and songs and what have you. It was a mess for a lot of different reasons in terms of the broadcast itself. And also on top of that, it was revealed through some of the activity.
Okay. TLTR. I don't know what the TR is. I know what the TL is. Com has staff members who believe they're fighting against transphobic neo-Nazi VTubers. Try to get Pippa kicked out last year. Can't succeed on getting me kicked up this year by searching my tweets. and taking the exact context. One staff member is an avid anti of both Pippa and I publicly. I'll have some fun receipts in a day or so.
Activities of volunteers during this broadcast that there are people, identifiable volunteers, that have open dislikings of some Phase Connect members and Kirsha as well, which also was.
Let's see. OffKai volunteer here for the general convention. So not a specific group of attendees. There are some unintentional mishaps, but there are also some deliberate sabotaging of attendees that those in charge do not like. It is not company specific, more so individual specific. Take of that what you will. I do not want to say why will they do this. Believe me or not, I don't care. My conscience is free now that I have posted here. As far as I have been able to overhear, it will happen again. At least one more time today and again tomorrow for the final events. Multiple groups of attendees will be affected. I will go to the extra meter. An interesting choice. I wonder if this person's not American. Do my best to prevent this for all of you and put up a defense. If you see someone being removed from the venue, they have stopped me. Please share this with threads of other attendees. I do not have the time to type all of them as I do not want to be seen as sitting on my phone in the lobby. Interesting. Now, I'm taking that with a grain of salt, because anyone can type anything on a form. And this looks like it's 4chan. So I'll take that with a grain of salt, especially where he says, I will go the extra meter. This person says, I will go the extra meter. And I'm not sure how many volunteers OffKai had that were not from America. So I'm thinking take this entire statement with a big grain of salt, because this may or may not be factual. I'm thinking.
Relevant in a lot of 4chan posts that people were making, claiming to be OffKai volunteers, where they claimed that there was a movement among some of the volunteers to sabotage the events of VTubers that they didn't like, and of course that's presumably some Phase Connect members as well. And a lot of people started.
Okay, so there's this guy. Really need to stop giving neo-Nazis and grifters. This is gonna suck real fucking hard real soon. Complaining about anti-white racism is the Nazi actual racist jokes and admitting she's okay with it. Let's see. Then why do we get a single 10-minute performance, wait like 10 minutes, and then get a random short talking segment? That phase ad is pretty good. Fuck stream, fuck dads, I'm out. I'm just really confused. What happened in the main stage event of phase then? Did it end? It was cut so much we don't know what happened. I don't understand. This guy says, so he's a this guy's a moderator of the OffKai stream, I'm guessing. Phase's decision, not ours. So this guy is saying that all the bad stuff that happened is Phase Connect's decision. So I'm guessing he's going to be the saboteur.
Digging into some of the volunteers. Now it's hard to identify some of these volunteers, but the one that we found looks very suspicious. And you can see right here, we have some tweets and messages from an official OffKai Twitch mod. Let's see what's being shared here. So there's a lot of talk.
Hey, people really need to stop giving the ISIS subscribers that much of a stage and space is gonna suck real fucking hard real soon. Of course, being MF complaining about the anti-white racism as the Nazi with featured clips including actual racist jokes and admitting she's okay with slurs. LMAO, go F yourself. Awful lot of actual neo-Nazis in the VTuber community, to be honest, should never let them get as popular as they have. This is raising all sorts of questions right now. Why is an OffKai mod thinking this way? Going on the assumption that this is this year, this is only a couple months ago that he's saying this. Like this person is megaphoning the fact that he hates VTubers. That like, yeah, he'll might say, oh yeah, there's neo-Nazis, and they'll probably say, oh, it's not all of them, but this person seems to really hate VTubers. So why is he working with OffKai? which is a VTuber convention. That doesn't make any sense to me. So begs the question, did this person slip in to OffKai with the deliberate intention of sabotaging? Because don't forget, like their staff are all other than the upper echelon of the staff, like the administrators and stuff. They're all volunteers. The staff are all volunteers. So did this person slip in there with the deliberate intention to sabotage VTubers? And I'm guessing Rev is going to go to the same place that I'm thinking. No. This is not Kirsche. This is not Kirsche. This is someone else entirely. This is an OffKai Twitch mod. This guy right here is an OffKai Twitch mod. Because OffKai broadcast the stream. They broadcasted the stream of, I guess, like the panels and stuff, and maybe performances on Twitch. And this person was one of the mods for OffKai's Twitch program. I don't know. This guy's got a serious hate on for VTubers. He seems to hate VTubers. Like, he's saying, like, oh, there's neo-Nazis in the VTuber community. I got a feeling he hates all VTubers. So why the hell is he volunteering for OffKai? Like, why is he volunteering for OffKai in the first place? And like I said, I think Rev's going to ask that exact same question shortly.
Talk from recent months, talking about how neo-Nazis and grifters in the VTubing scene should be deplatformed. And you can see some references with context will reveal a very specific set of targets that they are talking about. But here is this individual, this mod named Gustavo that we just showed his previous tweets.
Yeah, we saw that.
There were a lot of people in the chat of that broadcast for FaZe Connect talking about the issues, the technical issues, the spamming of ads, what have you. And you can see Gustavo down here saying that all of these issues going on are FaZe's decision, not ours. So right here, this individual for
Press X to doubt, chat. This guy's full of shit. Guarantee you this guy's completely full of shit.
or the OffKai mod staff is blaming FaZe Connect for whatever happened, saying it's their choice, which, by the way, FaZe Connect is not new to the block. I would trust that they would know how to run events like this without ridiculous levels of errors that seem like intentional sabotage because of how ridiculous they are. And also, remember this message because this Gustavo individual will claim in further tweets that they were asleep during this broadcast, which is obviously a lie because you can see their comments right here. Now, who is this Gustavo individual? Well, let's look into their accounts. You can see this.
Let's see. Okay, so these are the tweets we already saw.
That we just showed a couple seconds ago talking about this. So, of course, the MF complaining about anti-white racism is the Nazi with featured clips including actual racist jokes and admitting she's okay with slurs. Go F yourself. Awful lot of actual neo-Nazis in the VTuber community, to be honest, should have never let them get as popular as they have.
And I'm just gonna say, this term right here has been so overly used by these activists that it has become yet another word that once upon a time actually held a great deal of power behind it, has now become worthless. That's something that we've seen now in modern day, is so many of these words that once upon a time had a great deal of power and strength behind them because of their meaning have just been so hyper spammed that they've lost all meaning. For example, using this term right here. I don't want to actually say it because God knows if I put this up on YouTube, I don't want to get hit. Yes, they do. In general, like anyone on basically on the left, because it is those with that kind of ideology, They use this to describe, they use this so liberally, no pun intended. They use this word so liberally, it's lost its meaning. Because this has now become like shorthand. This word here has become the de facto word to use if someone doesn't agree with you. Same thing with racism. Same thing with like homophobic. Like all of these words, once upon a time, these words had power behind them because they had actual tangible meaning to them. If you were to label someone as this, you didn't just throw it out there for no reason. The person in question demonstrated behavior or actions that would fit in that label. On the flip side, calling something, woke or we have all these various labels, woke is the only one that comes to mind off the top of my head. They're all being so overused that they have no meaning anymore. Calling someone woke, calling someone racist, calling someone homophobic, calling someone that. It's lost all meaning because the word is thrown around so carelessly, and it has been for years. These words have just been tossed around to simply mean you don't agree with my way of thinking. And that's it. So they've effectively lost their meanings. And it's damage to language. Because now it's damage to society. Because now if someone actually commits an act of actual racism, how many people are going to believe it? How many people are just going to say, what, is it because they don't agree with you on something? How many people are going to say, and granted, the term woke is not as powerful because it doesn't indicate something that could be considered destructively discriminatory. But with these words being thrown around so carelessly, it's removing the legitimacy of them. So now if they actually get used in proper context, no one's going to know it. Someone gets called someone gets, someone tries to get help by saying they're being targeted by homophobia, say like in your workplace. And it's like, okay, so they don't agree with what you're thinking. So what? This is what happens when you carelessly throw around these words and turn them from words of power and meaning that help to shape the country in many respects, shape the world, and turn them into buzzwords. They lose all meaning and they lose all credibility. And that's the result of this it's hyper-oriented radicalization, particularly on Twitter, because everything is so hyper-organized left or right. No, I have not read 1984. I've heard about it, and I understand the meaning behind it. But yeah, I understand it is a similar concept. It's don't believe your own lying eyes. And things lose. You are inundated with things that should bother you, but because you are inundated with it so much on a daily basis, it loses all of its power and loses all of its meaning. And that's what we're seeing with these once powerful words. They've now lost all meaning. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of words that once had great meaning no longer have it. And so now now who the hell knows when you should take something seriously? Because you don't know if it's just it's Lewis Black made a joke once about New York City, and this was 20, 30 years ago. I think he made this joke. I'm not sure when he did this as part of stand-up, but he said that, in New York, fuck is not a word, it's a comma, as in the punctuation. which is kind of the same thing. That's where we're used to have impact. If that word was said, the immediate response was, oh boy, this guy's serious when you use that word. Now, yeah, it's become so overused, it's effectively a comma. And we're seeing that with these kinds of terms. They become so overused, they have no impact anymore. And if people are effectively going to start ignoring the context behind that because they've lost the context. So if someone actually tries to use it in correct context, no one's going to care.
So, seeing all this, this person is claiming there's some VTubers that are literal Nazis and racists and what have you. And based on the context here and the timing of this tweet,
exactly,
February 22nd, it is very obvious who they are talking about. So go back to February 20th, 2 days prior. This was when...
All right, so, this is Niji Sanji. This should be good. So thank you, artists. Know that you're amazing. You should be proud of your work. You are so loved and appreciated. People who spread negativity have already made up their minds, so don't let a few bitches define your worth and skill. Keep doing what you love. What do you think about straight white men? Remind us of your opinion about straight white men. Please, Mr. Positivity and Love Spreader. They're just as irresponsible and selfish as your response. So I remember hearing about this guy. This is a VTuber that worked for Niji Sanji who hates white people. That's a whole different thing. So I'm not sure how this is tying in, but maybe Red will let us know.
When the Uki Violetta drama started, where this Niji Sanji Ian Liver would make disparaging marks about white and straight people. And one of the people who would respond on the same day would be who else but...
See, fan supercut of every time Uki Violetta was weird about white people. Oh yeah, this kind of definitely makes it feel like a not so subtle racism. I doubt that he makes these kind of jokes about other races. Yeah, and I've seen the supercut, and yeah, he basically goes on and on and on. He doesn't really make it hidden his feelings towards white people. I'm not going to dig into it too much because this isn't the time or the place for it. But I'm curious how this is going to tie in with OffKai. I'm not sure if they were there or not.
Kirsha, who would share a 5.5 minute long compilation of Uki Violetta disparaging white people and straight people and making very offensive remarks about the color of their skin and their sexual preferences. And in response, some people in the coming day or two would share clips of Kirsha making jokes about other people's races, where she would respond by saying those were just jokes, unlike Uki Violetta, who is making these statements with no punchline. They're just open hatred of other races simply because of the color of their skin. And with the context, it seems very clear that this OffKai staff here was talking about Kirsha and also not only claiming she's a Nazi and racist, but also basically saying she should be deplatformed. And lo and behold, not much after that, she was removed as a guest from OffKai. Now, there's another VTuber who's definitely directly mentioned by this individual, this mod, and that is Pippa. She is a FaZe Connect member.
Yeah, and Pippa's been taking a lot of flack these days, and I don't know why. Apparently, there's a lot of hate on for Pippa, and honestly, I have no idea why. I have not followed this drama, because I think it's all kind of... I don't even know. But yeah, apparently a lot of people are really hating on Pippa these days for some reason.
And she is someone who's had many people try to cancel her for ridiculous reasons over the years. So, we also know that back...
Alright, so this seems like people being petty, possibly some people who didn't want Pippa to be there previously, but I am an easier mark to get rid of since I do not have the backing of a company, much less a company that sponsors so much of OffKai. The people who caused the issue with Pippa left us last year, so our attendance last year. Okay, what the hell does this have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? So again, this is Kirsha's interaction with the head of OffKai. So I have no idea what the hell this has to do with anything.
Back in 2023, Pippa was a guest, and due to these conversations between Kirsha and the director of OffKai, we know that back in 2023, volunteers of that event tried to remove Pippa. And strangely, that time they took the side of Pippa and the volunteers apparently walked. So we know this has been an issue with some of the volunteers in the past. And here is the mod once again direct.
Alright, so the OffKai mod responsible for the Twitch shit show that blamed FaZe, by the way. Kirsche was the canary in the coal mine. I get it's hard for cons to be picky about who they take as volunteers, but giving these small tyrants any degree of power is insane, and letting them spit in the face of the biggest talents of your biggest sponsor is wild. Yeah.
Directly naming another VTuber, this time being much more direct with Pippa in the situation. So here's some of Gustavo's tweets. So here is one tweet where he shows a picture of Pippa saying, "What a cute little rabbit girl. I wonder what her opinions on minorities are. Ah, oh no." Obviously a very disparaging remark and directly referring to her and presumably trying to say she's a racist with absolutely no proof, by the way. But they also retweeted this post attacking Pippa.
This one's an anti-Semite. Here she's playing a game that references one world government, talks about how there's already a group of people burning the World War chess fans believe they. Another glitch references happy merchant meaning after a donation. So it's the perpetually offended. They have to be perpetually offended. They're literally trying to dig any crumb and turn it into a fest. Yeah. Dark games exist. And saying that there's already a group of people running the world, here's a news flash. People have been saying that there's a shadow government for decades. Like, for decades, people have been making the claims that there's the shadow government. Some people say Jews, some people say Illuminati, some people say aliens, the lizard people. Saying that there's already a group of people that are a small collection of people running the world, that's not new. So of course it's going to make it a new game. And yeah, making a funny joke of, yeah, there's already a group of people running the world. Again, offended just for the sake of being offended. That's it. That's all they know what to do. They only know how to be offended. They cannot fathom living their life in any other way. Yeah. Well, this person doesn't care because this fits their narrative. This fits that person's narrative, and that's all they care about. If it doesn't fit their narrative, they say it's a lie. It has to fit their narrative or it's a lie, and that's the way it works. People like this do not have, they cannot deviate from their path of victimhood, because to do so will shatter their entire world image.
Claiming that she's an anti-Semite for saying oy vey on stream. But this one being much more clear, retweeting another post trying to attack Pippa, saying this: "There's an industrial complex of VTubers forming that are grifting off Hogwarts legacy, and the quote-unquote harassment they're getting for it is coming from incel Nazis pretending to be trans." So this is sharing a tweet that not only is
Nemesis. I made a video to explain why Pikami deserves what she got and Pippa deserves the same. You should watch it. You should watch it if you're a transphobe. And the Hogwarts legacy thing, that was just insane to begin with. Oh shit, I did it again. I hate when I do that. The Hogwarts legacy thing was just insane to begin with. Again, that's... I can't even really describe it. It's just bafflingly insane. Well, so Kaboom, if you're not aware of when the Hogwarts Legacy game came out, yeah, it's Exactly, yeah. It's when the Hogwarts Legacy game came out, J.K. Rowling, the author, worked very closely with the devs to make sure that everything was designed to fit with her books. And people in like the extreme left side of things, uh, claim that J.K. Rowling is a raging transphobe because she made the statement that basically that there are two genders. And so they're making the claim that she's a raging transphobe and anybody who plays the Hogwarts Legacy game is transphobic just for playing the game. Because if you're not transphobic, you should boycott the game. No, it's that extreme. It's you're either one extreme or the other. There's no middle ground. And and many streamers who streamed their playthrough of Hogwarts Legacy got absolutely bombed with hate in their Twitch chats. Like some of them got so much hate bombing in their Twitch chats that they left their stream in tears. And which is the irony here is not lost on me. I mean, if you like the game, wonderful. They, these are people that they're ironically enough, they're making the claim that if you like or want to play the Hogwarts Legacy game, or if you like and enjoy the Harry Potter books, the Harry Potter movies, basically anything associated with J.K. Rowling, if you like that, you hate trans people. Ironically enough, it's these very people making these statements that are the ones that are exhibiting said hate and said vitriol. They are the ones that exhibited hate by going onto Twitch streamers, doing their playthroughs, and bombarding them with hate messages to the point some of them were left in tears and ended their streams. I'm not sure if one or two of them actually left Twitch and just said, I'm done after that kind of response. The ones that are claiming transphobia are the ones that are actually showcasing the hate. And you don't hear, and none of the media picked that up. You know, the media, the journalists, they talk all about, about how with Hogwarts Legacy was being transphobic. They didn't put these activists that were attacking people just for playing a game. These were people that did not exhibit any form of transphobia. They didn't express an opinion about it one way or the other. They just wanted to play a game. There was nothing. You saw nothing or next to nothing from these journalists when they were absolutely dogpiled by these hate mongers on the left side. Because they were absolutely dogpiled. Their chats were spammed with hate. And you never heard about that. And that's the irony. All of these people that are claiming that they're victims of transphobia, homophobia, racism, etc., they're the first ones to spew out the hatred and intolerance and saying, you must do this or else. Like, that's what you're supposed to be against. You're supposed to be against that black and white ideology. Yet they're the first ones to do it. And so that's where we got here with OffKai. This guy was a black and white, and he had a black and white ideology, and we're seeing what's coming from it.
This game was ridiculous, and this is just one of many posts trying to slander an attacker back in 2023, and you can see this mod is sharing this post, and again, also trying to downplay the harassment And also on top of that, even worse.
All right, so what's this? Now watch the transphobes come up with some conspiracy theory bullshit instead of accepting the truth for what it is. The fact that Pikami was going to graduate was something that was already decided a long time ago. I'd like to emphasize this. Actually, we've been in discussion with this for a while. At this stage, we could have Pika herself come out and say she decided this on her first day. People still have been hoops to jump through to blame it on trans people. Prepared statement, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I have no context for this. Why, where the blame for I'm not gonna dig into that because I have no idea what the issue is with Pika graduating and how transphobia is a part of it. My guess is it's probably not, but I don't know.
Here is Marina VT, who was an OffKai guest in 2023, who many people had some very valid concerns about when it came to her appearing at this event. She did not attend this year, but they not only support her tweet, again, as always supporting the Hogwarts Legacy Harassment campaign, but this Gustavo individual shares the same thread of talk where they believe there was no harassment campaign, and also they believe that Pikami was never harassed, which is absolutely vile. And if you guys forgot, Pikami was brutally harassed by a bunch of people on Twitter for simply suggesting the possibility that she might stream the Hogwarts Legacy game. It was a ridiculous situation. Here is that mod making light of the situation. Now, facing all this very valid...
Missy, if you want to cry about me, maybe don't pick one where I complain about not that. Do you like them? Where I complain about unrelated people in my life, reading comprehension doesn't seem very common anymore. Neither does common sense, apparently. Also, if you really think I personally took down stream, you overestimate what an average dig is 2 continents away can do while sleep. Imagine throwing rain and fuel into a fire by lying just because you can. Legit makes fire to people like you. You were a mod for the stream. That means you have some power over the stream. Mods can run ads on Twitch. Mods do have the ability to run ads.
Valid criticism, how would this mod respond? Well, terribly. So here's some of their tweets saying this. If you want to cry about me, maybe don't pick 1 where I complain about Nazis, do you like them? 2 where I complain about unrelated people in my life. Reading comprehension doesn't seem to be very common anymore, which based on the context of everything we've shown you, it's very obvious they are talking very directly about multiple VTubers who were involved with OffKai at one point or another. And then here they say, also, if you really think I personally took down the stream, you overestimate what an average dingus 2 continents away can do while asleep. Again, remember, I talked about this earlier. They claim that they were asleep during the broadcast, but we have screenshots of them openly responding to people. So how much do you trust this person's credibility when they are caught in 4K lying? And then down here they say, imagine throwing random fuel into the fire by lying just because you can. Legitimately tired of people like you with a middle finger towards all of their dissenters. Well, of course, there's...
See, I find it ironic that OffKai betted out Kirshi for tweets but never betted their stat for the same issue. Yeah, excellent point. Some of these posts date back to February, so they should have never become staff members in the first place, just all around rude problematic. Yeah. Yeah, please go the fuck to therapy. Of course, yeah, that. Yeah, I mean, like, they dug into Kirsche's tweets and banned her, but they're not going to do the same thing for them? Okay. Yeah, it's... This is... Yeah, the double standard here. The double standard.
There's a lot of good points that are being raised about the situation. People compiling all these tweets made by this OffKai mod saying this. I find it ironic that OffKai Expo vetted out Kirsha for tweets, but never vetted their staff for the same issue. Some of these posts date back to February. So they should have never become a staff member in the first place, just all around rude and problematic. And also legal.
There were strict activities. Okay. So basically, this is what this guy had to agree to when he volunteered for OffKai. It is a non-disparagement. So only designated officers may speak on behalf of OffKai or its sponsored events. Volunteers and vendors of OffKai may not share confidential or privileged information or disparage OffKai or its events in public online forums, including but not limited to Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and Twitch. Situations that arise within this policy will be addressed by the president, vice president, or board of OffKai. So this guy violated the volunteer agreement. So now I wonder if we're going to hear about OffKai going after this mod legally for what he or she did.
Mindset would do some digging and find something very interesting. So he says this. Here's part of the OffKai Expo volunteer agreement. Interesting possible interpretation of the non-disparagement clause, which includes events at OffKai. Hope people kept their Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and Twitch clean. And of course, based on this language that you can find right here, everything that this mod was saying appears to be a violation of these terms that they signed on to, where they're not supposed to disparage any of the events or the talents.
Big violation.
As a secondary
big violation.
Of that claim. And yeah, not a very good look. And of course, I wanted to share this with you guys as well. So Kirsha was blacklisted as a guest. However, she would find a way to attend this event. With the help of her community, she was smuggled into the event. And she was gracious enough to invite me and my wife, Darling Straub, to join her on this iPad stand and to do a meet and greet with several dozen people. We are quite literally propped up on a trash can in the back alley of OffKai. It was beautiful. I wouldn't have had it any other way. In fact, we were able to go in and actually see most of the grounds inside of OffKai. And we were able to meet, like I said, dozens of people, which was awesome. That's kind of the funny good end of that whole situation. But let's go back to OffKai, okay? So this situation with FaZe Connect is a suspicious one, okay? It's not a very good look for them, and it's something that I believe they need to directly address, more than they already did with that previous tweet from the first. And at the very least, even if all of this stuff, all these conspiracy theories about sabotage and what have you, let's say they're all just coincidences. Still, the broadcast went very poorly, and I think FaZe Connect deserved a lot better than that, not just because of how much they raised attention for OffKai generally, but also the financial support they provided for all of these artists and the hype really that they brought to OffKai this year. They deserve better than that with their broadcast, and also they didn't deserve some of these mods making disparaging remarks like they did. And I think it is very reasonable, based on what we've seen, the circumstances and the circumstantial evidence, that there is a legitimate reason to believe that some of the volunteers there had an open hatred of some of the FaZe Connect members, as well as people like Kirsha, and it's reasonable to believe that maybe they had some sort of a hand to play in these series of events. I think that is a reasonable thing to assume based on the context of everything. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. I am sure there's going to be more coming out about this event in the coming days, so we will stay tuned. If there's any relevant updates, I will let you guys know. But for now, like I said, that's going to do it. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I have a suspicion that in the coming weeks, there's a good chance in the coming weeks that we are going to hear about a statement from OffKai regarding all of this. I really think that we are going to be hearing a statement about this because there's enough noise being made about this that OffKai is probably going to make a statement, probably somewhere, they're going to be backpedaling and eating shit like crazy. And my guess is their statement is going to come in the form of saying something to the effect of, we're going to do better, we're going to, you know, vet our volunteers more thoroughly in the future, something like that. We whether or not that actually happens, well, we're gonna have to just wait and see. But I bet you there's Rev will probably post something about that. The, there's we're gonna hear from OffKai in the coming weeks, saying that we screwed up. We're gonna take these steps to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. I'll bet you.